Yay Networks.
Welcome to another episode of A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. Thank you all so much for joining us for another podcast this week. I'm Kellie Raspberry Evans, and this is my husband and podcast co-host, Alan Evans.
Hey, Trade in the house.
So excited to be here.
So excited.
And we have so much to talk about because I know Alan is super excited that it is PSL season once again. Pumpkin Spice Lattes.
First day of fall is September 22nd, guys.
That's right, but
put away your pumpkins.
People are clamoring for it, or they
put
would
away
not.
Your Christmas lights.
Listen, this is a big deal.
Put away your fake Frosties. It's not fall yet. It's not winter yet. It's 99.
Isn't Pumpkin Spice Latte at Starbucks? Isn't that the signal?
It's 99 frickin' degrees outside.
I know.
The last thing I want is a hot, spicy pumpkin spice latte.
Well, do they do cold pumpkin spice drinks? I'm wondering.
I don't know.
They do hot iced coffees. Maybe they do iced lattes. They have to do an iced latte. Anyway, that's beside the point. Alan thinks it's too soon. I personally agree with him. I think they could at least wait until Labor Day weekend. That's sort of like, the unofficial day in the South, at least, when you're supposed to stop wearing white shoes and white jeans and stuff. Although I haven't been able to zip my white jeans for a couple of summers now. They're still hanging there taunting me in my closet. But that, I think, would be a good time after Labor Day weekend. But no, they started here almost towards the end of August. But not only does Pumpkin Spice Latte have its devotees, everybody's excited, lining up, Starbucks has added something new that I'm actually kind of excited about. They were like, okay, what can we do that's just as big, maybe even eventually bigger than a Pumpkin Spice Latte? It's the Apple Crisp Macchiato.
Apple Crisp Macchiato. Huh?
Yes, it's going to be for a limited time, hot or cold. Mm-hmm. So there you go for people who complain about it's too hot to be drinking hot drinks. But they say this tastes like the inside of a hot apple, or the filling of an apple pie is what it tastes like.
That actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I might try that.
So they have a lot of flavors they do, just for fall. And then they pull them off. That's fine. Seasonal flavors are fun. They've got, let's see, for 20 years, they've whipped up other popular drinks like the maple pecan latte, the salted caramel mocha. But don't they leave that around in the salted caramel year round now? Pumpkin cream cold brews. So there you go. I guess that's where instead of pumpkin spice, pumpkin cream. But yeah, the apple crisp macchiato.
Apple crisp macchiato.
Steamed milk with Starbucks signature espresso. In the caramelized spiced apple drizzle is the cherry on top of the morning pick-me-up sundae. And do you know what macchiato means?
Let's hear it.
Marked in Italian. Marked.
How much is some bitch going to cost?
I don't know. But maybe that'll take off, and maybe it'll, I guess just the whole pumpkin spice thing is, I don't know, people just get sick of it. Like you.
Well, I don't know.
They're being sick of it.
I mean, I post those things more just to get people all riled up because there are people who are super passionate about it. They're like, and they're joking, but they say, you have offended me. Unfollow.
I know. I don't mind I don't mind the pumpkin spice candles and things like that, but I kind of draw the line. I mean, people just took it next level. They were doing like pumpkin spice toilet paper and things like that. That's a little silly. I tried an at-home K-cup. It wasn't I like, when they have at the home goods places where they have the different coffee flavors in the section there. I remember I brought home some pumpkin spice something or other. It tasted like vomit. I was so disgusted. I took the box up to work thinking somebody up there might like it. Maybe it was just my taste buds, but it was horrible. But I remember last year they had pumpkin spice. Did I already talk about this on a podcast? I can't remember. Pumpkin spice Kit Kats.
Yeah, you talked
Those
about
were
this.
delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't already talk about that. So I'm not going to talk about that again. But if you find them, try them. Well, I talk about so much. I have the, Kid Craddock morning show.
Nationally syndicated.
I have the A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Love Letters to Kellie podcast. I have friends that I talk to.
Yeah, but you don't talk about Kit Kats on Love Letters to Kelly, do you?
You don't know. I don't know where I talk about what. I forget about stuff, where I've talked about it. I know I've talked about it, but to whom? And was it on a national or podcast forum? I have no idea. I can't remember. But there you go. Try the apple crisp macchiato. That's what I'm going to try next time I'm in. I'm very excited about it.
I may try that, actually. As bah humbug as I am about PSL, I may try that. 'Cause that does sound pretty good.
Good. I found something that makes you happy with the whole Starbucks situation. And you drink hot coffee in the summer?
I do. It has nothing to do with being hot. It has to do with everybody going gaga about pumpkin in August.
All right. So it's just the pumpkin thing.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I have to come up with a lot of things to talk about, not only on Kid Craddock in the Morning, on A Sandwich and Some Lovin', and to my friends. I came across this article and it was scary. And I'm going to tell you what it is. All right. What a buildup, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the most terrifying amusement park rides in the world is in Japan. It's an amusement park called Fuji-Q Highland.
Good eye, mate.
And it's located near the base of Mount Fuji.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called I'm going to butcher it, Dododonpa. Dododonpa? I don't know. It's a roller coaster. Anyway, it's been shut down by the government. We're not sure for how long, when it's going to be ready to open again to the public, because several passengers have broken bones on this roller coaster. They're trying to investigate the cause, but it's not really hard to figure out why when I tell you this next part. The architecture professor at Nihon University told Vice, this website that I found this subject, that he suspects the injuries are because the roller coaster has an intense acceleration 3 times the force of gravity,
Whoa.
Similar to what astronauts might feel during a launch. One of the women who was injured said, "Yeah, I might have been leaning forward during the ride." If you've ever been to Disney World and you ride the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster, that's the thing. They tell you, hold your head back, because that thing takes off to like 0 to 60 really fast. And if you're leaning forward or your head's forward, it could really throw you back and hurt you. So if you're leaning forward on this Dododonpa or whatever it's called roller coaster, it is known for its, quote, super death speeds. It is the fastest accelerating roller coaster in the world, going from 0 to 112 miles per hour in 1.56 seconds.
Good grief.
Is that incredible? It's air launched, they said. So I don't know what kind of puff of air goes that fast, but it also has the world's largest loop-de-loop. So you're taking off 0 to 112 in less than 2 seconds, and you're on the world's largest loop-de-loop. If your body's not sitting there perfectly locked in, they said that of course, they're not going to be real forthcoming with all the numbers, but at least 6 people have suffered broken bones, and 4 of them said they broke their neck or back. Isn't that crazy? And all of them between the ages of 30 and in their 50s. So you're getting, when you get over 50, you're probably not riding those roller coasters anymore. Like me, I could still ride a roller coaster, but I'm getting to the point where if I turn my head too fast, I want to throw up, because you get motion sick after a while and you feel like your brain's getting jostled around in your head. Don't you feel that way?
That certainly doesn't sound safe. 3 times their body. So they're pulling 3 Gs when they take off on this thing.
3 times the force of gravity.
So if you're
0 to 112 in 1.56 seconds.
If you're 2 bills, you take off on this thing, you weigh 600 pounds in your seat. That's how much pressure it's being put on your body.
Their necks and backs are breaking.
That makes
sense.
sense.
They got to figure out a way to just like harness them in where there is no movement whatsoever. But then I think I would freak out if somebody clamped me down so hard that I couldn't even move my head or neck or lean it forward. That would freak me out. And then, did you see what happened at this amusement park in Ohio? I could go on all day about injuries at amusement parks. This didn't happen on the ride. This woman was standing in line to get on the Top Thrill Dragster roller coaster at Cedar Point Amusement Park. It's somewhere in Ohio. Anyway, this piece of the roller coaster broke off, hit her in the head, and now she is fighting for her life. It was towards the end of the ride. They say she's in critical condition with a brain injury. She's just standing there in line. So they said it's the size of a man's hand what flew off. And it's one of those L-shaped brackets or something.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So it's typically, they said, attached by bolts, but somehow it came in contact with the track, ripped off the car, and struck her in the head while she's just standing there.
Oof.
And they have some law where you're supposed to, up until they made this law, they only had to inspect these rides once a year, but now it's twice a year. It's called Tyler's Law. It must be named after somebody that had a horrible injury on a roller coaster or died. I don't know. But anyway, the second inspection for this particular roller coaster was planned for September. So they were just weeks away from having this second inspection, and she got hit in the head just standing there.
Where was this?
Ohio.
Jeez.
Anyway, just stuff to think about.
What's the deal with the roller coaster content, babe?
I just found it. I thought that fast roller coaster was interesting, but then that other one I just thought was freaky.
Huh.
Anyway, I don't know what you can take from that except for don't stand. You know what I don't want to do is stand underneath a roller coaster ride anymore or anywhere near it.
I generally like roller coasters. I mean, we rode them at Disney. I've been to Six Flags a gazillion times. I haven't been to Six Flags though in a long time.
I know.
I've ridden all the ones out at Six Flags, but that Texas Giant, that one pinches your brain. You know, the wooden one?
It's so rickety.
The rickety, creaky one?
That was part of the fun, but I think, I haven't been, but I think they said they've readjusted it to make it smoother.
Really?
Because I think it's the largest wooden roller coaster still in existence,
Boy,
right?
Yeah, that one jostles you around.
It literally feels like my brain is jostling around in liquid.
Yeah.
And the last time I rode it, I had to go throw up. It made me so sick.
Whoa.
It's just not worth it to me anymore.
Yeah.
I still try, like when we go to the kids trip in November, I don't even know what's happening with the way COVID cases are going. I'm optimistic that the kids trip's going to happen this year. It's the 30th anniversary, but who knows at this point. But, you know, with these little kids, you want to ride the rides with them. And the roller coasters at Disney World aren't typically too terrible. I mean, the Space Mountain one's pretty jostling. But I can do, they have the new Slinky roller coaster. If you ever go there, that is truly the smoothest roller coaster I've ever been on in my life. Our youngest Dylan loved that one. Splash Mountain, I can do that. That's not really a roller coaster. It's just one big drop. But man, those spinning and turning ones, ugh. And forget about the teacups. Out. I will never have my butt in a teacup again. I can just go ahead and guarantee you that. But I am going to get to some more interesting news. But, you know, what a lot of people are doing, you know, we're talking about maybe Disney World might be canceled. A lot of people, because so many of your usual vacation plans where you'd go to these resorts, you'd travel. It's like, man, I'm scared to do that right now. So a lot of people have turned to outdoors adventures, right?
Yep.
RV rentals went through the roof. People are learning to camp out. They want to be more in the open outdoors where they feel safer. And it's really a healthy thing to do, to get outside more, ride your bikes, do things as a family. And if you're wanting to really take advantage of all that the great outdoors has to offer, if you're planning your first RV trip, if you're just wanting to get bikes for the family and you don't really know where to begin, let me tell you about a company that we love, that we are so proud to sponsor a Sandwich and Some Lovin', and that's backcountry.com. Wouldn't that be terrible if I misspoke after all that big buildup?
That would be.
Backcountry.com.
Better get it right.
If the outdoors is calling you and you're ready to answer, backcountry.com, that is the place to go. When you shop at backcountry.com, you can pick up the phone and you can talk gear with an actual former Olympian. This company was founded by a former Olympic skier. And so it's absolutely the best place to go to have any question you need to answer when it comes to outdoor gear and apparel. And in the month of August, you know, we still got a little time left here. Backcountry is doing their biggest sale of the summer. It's the semi-annual sale. And during the semi-annual sale, you can save up to 50% off your favorite brands, including Patagonia, Arc'teryx, The North Face, Marmot. Is it Marmot or Marmot? M-A-R-M-O-T. I don't want to say it wrong.
I'm from Texas. I say Marmot.
Marmot and more. So be sure to check out Backcountry's semi-annual sale to save huge on all of your outdoor adventures, from hiking, biking, camping, to just hanging out on the lake. And if you, like I said, if you are planning your first adventure, you're not really sure where to begin, these gearheads can help you with that as well. They can tell you a very detailed packing list for what you'll need, because some of the stuff you might think you need, they'll be like, you really don't need that. But some of them are a must. And here we are getting ready to transition from really hot weather. But if you're going to a mountainous area, what kind of jacket will you need? A transitional jacket. And everything Backcountry sells is the highest quality, but the Backcountry gearheads are what makes the real difference. And like you said, Alan, you've used their gearheads to help you.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about buying bicycle saddlebags, which I learned are called panniers. So one of their gearheads pointed me the right direction, asked me a few questions, and
It was perfect.
it was perfect fit. And actually, I've used them several times.
Yeah, and they're all available, these gearheads, 24/7 by phone, email, chat for any product recommendations and hard-won advice. So go to backcountry.com/sandwich, enter promo code sandwich to get 15% off your first full price purchase. Some exclusions apply. Go right now and get 15% off any non-sale items at backcountry.com/sandwich and enter promo code sandwich. Backcountry.com/sandwich. Don't forget to enter code sandwich. All right. We really do appreciate them being a sponsor of this podcast. Now, Alan, I didn't realize my daughter would care about this story, but she brought it up to me today. We talked about it on the Kid Craddock Morning Show as well.
Okay.
I know you slept in this morning, so you might not have heard it, and this might be news to you. Maybe you saw it in the news.
Lay it on me.
Okay. So do you remember the Nirvana album from 1991, Nevermind?
Yes, I own that album.
Do you remember the front cover of that album? It was iconic.
Yes, I do.
Can you describe it?
It was a baby in a swimming pool chasing a lure. The baby was nude.
And what was on that lure? Remember?
I don't remember. What
A dollar
was on the
bill.
lure. Oh, the dollar bill.
A dollar
That's right.
bill.
That's right.
All right. So the baby on that album cover, he was 4 months old when that album cover was shot. His name is Spencer Eldon, and now he's 30. He is suing the band and everybody involved with that band at the time this album was put out for child sexual exploitation and distribution of private sexually explicit materials. So apparently his father was friends of the photographer, and they apparently shot a bunch of babies in a swimming pool. And Kurt Cobain went through the photos and picked this particular photo of the baby boy that looks like he's swimming towards this dollar. I'm sure the dollar on the hook wasn't there. They superimposed that later. So he claims that his parents were paid $200 for that photo. He never got a dime of it. You know, what were they going to do? Put it in a college fund, $200? I don't know. They probably just went out to a nice dinner, but whatever. But he also says that his parents were promised by the band they were going to put a sticker over his little pee-pee. Well, obviously that didn't happen because we all saw it. But it's also a 4-month-old pee-pee. But he still says that is child pornography because, number one, he couldn't legally consent to his image being used, and it's caused him permanent physical, psychological, and financial harm. He says... Like
just in the last
And
year or
here's
since when?
Over the years. He said he's gotten more and more uncomfortable. Here's the thing my daughter pointed out to me, and I'm sure this is going to be brought up in court. Over the years, he's done special promotions. Like every few years, people will hire him to come out and recreate that pool scene, but as a teenager and as an adult. Now, he'll be wearing swim trunks at the time, but he'll do it, and he'll, do like a little club appearance or whatever, like celebrities from reality shows will do, So he'd get paid to go out and recreate this scene. He also has the word Nevermind tattooed across his chest.
So in a way, without the album cover, nobody know who the hell this guy was.
Right. But it's very interesting. It always, I can't say that he hasn't been damaged by it because maybe he did get made fun of when he was a kid that his, penis was on an album cover. I don't know. He was also a baby. Little baby penises are tiny, but it's just what it is. But in 2015, he told the New York Post, all this stuff is going to come up in court, I'm sure, that it was cool but weird to be part of something so important that I don't even remember. And he added, it'd be nice to have a quarter for every person that has seen my baby penis. So it comes down to money ultimately. And does he have a point? I don't know. He's also hoping that for any reissue of the album that comes out, because if they plan like maybe to reissue it on the 30th anniversary, that they'll cover up his penis with that sticker like they promised or blur it out or something or airbrush it out. I don't know how they could do it. But he is suing everybody, the surviving band members, Kurt Cobain's estate, Courtney Love, the photographer, the art director, the managers, all the record labels who released the album. He wants $150,000 from each of them. There's more than a dozen people named in the lawsuit, but I just did the quick math. And if, let's just say there was a dozen at $150,000 each, that's $1.8 million. So he's hoping for, I guess, around a nice, cool $2 million for his pain and suffering.
Pain and suffering?
Yeah, but my daughter even was like, that's weird. But I said, it's so interesting because
he's so distraught that he had the album tattooed on his chest.
Right. But haven't you seen like other, just devil's advocate, I don't even know if that's the right word I'm using, where you've had other people who have been traumatized, where something was done that was not right, but they act like everything's okay. They kind of laugh along. They go along with the joke. But inside, they're hiding pain. You know what I'm saying? Like kids who have something traumatic happen as a child, they might act out as a teenager, as an adult, because of that trauma. And maybe he was trying to put a happy face on it. I don't know. I don't know.
Babe, this is what it is. He wants a payday.
Of course.
Period.
Yeah, he wants to be paid.
He wants a payday. This was 30 years ago. And he's squawking about it now?
Yes.
He doesn't care his baby penis was on that thing. He wants a payday.
Well,
he had the album tattooed on his chest. He's been doing appearances as the guy that was on the album.
But how many people have been through traumatic experiences?
Give me a break.
And they have
Nobody
tattooed?
would know who in the hell
That's
this guy
true.
was if it wasn't for that photo.
But people who go through traumatic experiences have tattoos on their body because the pain, they go through the pain. It's like a martyr thing, right?
I'd like to
It's
ask.
a masochistic
I'd like
thing.
to ask this kid a question. I'd say, would you rather have $1, or call it $10? Would you rather have $10 for every album that your penis appeared on?
Hmm?
Okay, $10 for every album, or would you like, since you've been through so much pain and suffering, from now on, would you like them, any other albums that they sell, any other pictures of you, they're going to cover everything up that they ever printed, anything going forward, they're going to cover up, and would that suffice?
I'm wondering
Which one is it? Is it the picture of the penis, or is it the money? Which one
That's
is
what
it?
I'm saying. Maybe he would have had, if it is about getting paid, he's like, that was art. That is an art cover. I mean, that's considered iconic. So what if he, instead of approaching it from, I'm going to go after this under the guise of child exploitation, pornography, basically, kiddie porn. Instead, he went back with his attorney and said, look, this was an iconic album cover. He was not of the age of consent. His parents did this. He deserves a piece of the profits. However, they work that out. Because, you know what I'm saying? It was his likeness, his image that's been used multiple times. Maybe he could go back and renegotiate instead of coming at it from, you're all child pornographers, come at it from a place of, give me a piece of the pie here, because I'm part of one of the biggest, most famous album covers in history.
Yeah, I don't know. He wants a payday. When your claim to fame is you were the kid on the Nirvana album cover and that's all you got, I mean, you're going to try to get paid for it.
Anyway.
End of story.
In a story, but I'll keep you posted if I find out where. Maybe it'll just all go away, but that's just new. But I thought it was interesting. My daughter even talked about it, and she's 14, so there you go.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right. Well, I just thought it was interesting.
It is interesting.
I didn't mean to get you all riled up, man, but whew.
It's an interesting question, but I mean, it smells of I should have got paid, is what it smells of.
Yeah.
I should have got paid, and since I didn't get paid,
Well,
I'm
I'm
going to
saying.
go back and say, well, my PP shouldn't be on there, and it's child porn.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think he would have, if he had approached it differently, he might have had a better shot. Now they're going to be vigorous, because now they're going to have to vigorously defend that this was child pornography, because that takes it to another level. I mean, that's like really bad.
Yeah, and he's going to have to show that he's endured some kind of pain and suffering, or some type of loss.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I don't know.
anyway, that's why we're not attorneys.
That's why I'm not a lawyer.
But I was just telling you what's going on. And that's really the biggest news going on. Allen has been watching some new stuff on Netflix. You want to share the stuff that you've been watching?
Well, I mentioned last time, I kept calling it Rust Brothers. I think it's Rust Brothers Restorers is the actual name of I binged the whole, there was only 3 seasons. So I binged that. It was pretty interesting. I mean, if you like classic cars and it's funny, it's about this company and the owner. He's a funny guy. He's got dreads and he's this big tall guy, and they're all Canadian, but he spends a lot of money that he shouldn't spend, and his company is always trying to kind of rein him in. And it's just a lot of buffoonery and adventures of this guy Mike and his best friend Avery. And then Mike's son. They're the three guys that kind of run the company.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's pretty interesting. It's worth a watch. But I binged all 3 seasons already. And then I've been watching this one. It's called, oh man, I can never remember the names of these.
It's like Diary of a Murder or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's that. Yeah, the Profile of a Murder.
I can look it up real quick while you're describing it, and I'll look it up real quick.
But they profile
It's Netflix, right?
Yeah, they profile a person who's been convicted of murder, and everyone that I've seen has been on death row. And it's kind of strange because...
Is it Making a Murderer?
No, not Making a Murderer.
No, that's not it.
That was about Stephen Avery.
Oh, continue watching. I just pulled up your Netflix. I Am a Killer.
I Am a Killer. But yeah, it's interesting because, I don't know, it kind of makes you have a little bit of sympathy towards the killer, which is...
They humanize them.
They do humanize them because in these stories, there's always something that comes up and you're like...
You feel bad for them a little bit for a minute?
Yeah, like I didn't see that coming, And it does humanize them, and you can sort of see kind of maybe what they were thinking, but it's worth watching too. I've watched about the first 3 or 4, but yeah, I like true crime stuff, so that's a decent one to watch.
Well, it just said, because I pulled up yours, what you're watching. They said trending now, Cold Case Files Classic, Making a Murderer, Inside the World's Toughest Prisons, Jailbirds. This is the stuff that's trending now. So people are really into death and murders and mysteries. So anyway, that's what's happening. Me, Emma Kelly and I, she's been staying at her dad's for a couple of weeks, but she finally got home today and she's like, let's pick up, on Gilmore Girls. So we're trying to finish up Gilmore Girls. We're getting dangerously close to the end of it. I watched Grace and Frankie, which I think is really funny. It's Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda. A lot of people feel a certain way about Jane Fonda. But I really like this. It's a sitcom and it's funny and it's in its last season because these ladies are both very, very elderly at this point. And they just gave us like 3 or 4 episodes just to kind of whet our appetite, and they're going to bring the rest back later next year, I think. But if you've never watched Grace and Frankie, that's a really fun one that I enjoyed watching. And we've still got to finish Ink Masters.
Well, we just finished another season.
We just finished finally. They were doing the teams competition where it was the 2 different tattoo artists.
Season 8
going up against each other, and we could barely force ourselves to get through it.
But it was a lot of episodes.
It was a lot, but we're going to keep going. And I think that's really all that we've got going on right now. We're always open to all of your suggestions because I love having stuff to watch with Alan. I was a little bit disappointed when I found out he started watching I Am a Killer without me, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, and I already told you The Chair was terrible. Did I tell y'all that, or did I tell that on the Kid Craddock Morning Show? Did you hear me talk about The Chair?
I can't remember.
The Chair about the English professor, and they had David Duchovny.
Oh, you talked about that on the last podcast.
Yeah, I don't like that. But if you have any suggestions, please email us. You maybe already did after the last podcast, and I don't know that we've checked the emails. We need to get on that. But it's podcast@kellyandallen.com. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, if you have a comment on the Nirvana lawsuit, anything that we talk about on the podcast, or any suggestions you have or questions for us, podcast@kellyandallen.com is the place to find, to get those into us. And I guess we're going to end on that note. My daughter's not feeling very well.
We're dropping like flies around here.
Yeah, I think she's got strep throat. But with what's going on, we I took her into the doctor today just to make sure it's not, something else. But she took the COVID test and the strep test, and they both came back negative. But I've had strep throat before where I've literally had the white things on my tonsils, and I went to the doctor. He looked at my throat and said, it's obvious you have strep throat, but they do the test anyway and it came up negative because sometimes he says it takes time for it to show up. And I'm thinking that's what she has. Her pediatrician said that out of all the kids coming in lately, 90% have been strep and 10% have been COVID. So, you know, it's kind of weird to say I'm rooting for strep, but that's what we're rooting for. So she's upstairs not feeling too great. So I promised her we'd just do a quick podcast so I could go make her some soup and snuggle up with her and watch a Gilmore Girls in bed.
Okay.
Unless you have something else, babe.
No, I'll save what I had for next time.
Oh, well, that's a tease.
Yeah.
You want to give me a little tease so I can remind you?
People love lists.
Oh, a list. All right.
It's another user. What is it again? User generated content. Gosh,
Oh, okay. We love that. See, we need your help.
Another UGC.
We need y'all to submit your stuff so we can, have podcast content. There you go. But y'all say a little prayer for Emma Kelly. I would appreciate it. We've got her just upstairs tucked into bed. And I asked her before we came to do the podcast, Allen, I said, can I get you anything? And she said, she shook her head no because her throat hurts. And I said, do you want anything? And she pointed to me. See? I hate when my child is sick. But one of the biggest blessings as a mother is taking care of your children when they're sick or taking care of your husband or your parents. I remember when my mom had to go to the hospital and she was really, really sick. She had terrible gallstones and it was just bad. And I had to help her. And I remember it was just such a blessing that I got to take care of my mother. So I don't wish that anybody was sick, but it's just such a blessing when she's like, all she wants is me.
And how come every time I saw you when I was sick, you had that look on your face that you do?
That's not true, Allen.
The one
that's not
where
true.
your mouth kind of does the...
No, I help you when you're sick and I do anything in the world for you. But
when
you get grumpy.
But when you bring up food or take away food, you always got that look on your face.
Allen, that's my normal face. That's my face. You know me enough by now. That's just my resting face. And I took care of you. And you tell everybody the truth.
You did. You did take care of me.
Now, you did get grumpy, and I had to snap at you a couple times.
I thought you were always mad at me.
Because you're grumpy, and you're like, oh my gosh,
What?
You just get so grumpy.
I'll show you grumpy.
You've shown me grumpy. I don't need to see any more grumpy.
I'll show you grumpier.
Oh, Lord. Let me go take care of my kid.
All right. Well, I love you desperately.
I love you.
I love our listeners desperately.
Love y'all.
I love them so much. We'll podcast again real soon. And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good. Have a good sandwich.